Welcome, dear readers, to Cover My Ass, where Batman books are reviewed but not read by yours truly. My name is Khaki.
And I'm Kay, and remember, we only just fight.
And we find ourselves once more among the towering stacks of your library, and Kay, I find myself in a bit of a sticky situation. If you could, follow the sound of my voice. I'm over here.
Yes. Doesn't the high life agree with you?
It did for a while, but
you didn't find the beehives, did you?
This is pure hubris on my part. Here I am.
Where are you?
Here, follow the sound of my voice. It's great Foley work there. I'm sure everyone really enjoys it. I'm here. Let me visually describe what you're seeing here, just for the benefit of the people at home.
I'm not quite sure what I can make out of it myself.
Do you remember how last time we talked about the Velibra-raptors,
yes.
a species that I was intent on hunting, and that you turned out to already know about, and you suggested the glue traps?
Yes.
Well, I'm stuck in the glue traps because these are they're some cunning little bastards.
Oh, the tiny ones.
Look, long story short, I'm stuck in some glue traps.
Okay.
And how are we going to solve this as a team?
Let me come help you and get you out of that.
Oh, great. Ow! Thank you for helping me out of that.
You're welcome.
Wow, that was potentially like upwards of 5 minutes of improv comedy that we just skipped there.
I think you left a bit of skin on that glue trap there.
Let's bygones be bygones, and let's just move on with the episode, I guess. I've got to say, excellent Foley work.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. So what do we have in store for our readers at home today?
Right, we are reviewing a 1950s young adult science fiction book. It's called The Secret of the Martian Moons by Donald A. Wollheim.
Ooh, that's
Wollheim.
That sounds like a Project Paperclip name, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does a bit.
So it's a lovely, like old-fashioned science fiction cover.
Absolutely.
Do you remember the name of the cover artist that we made up that one time and then never referenced again? Do you remember how it was going to be a running gag?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this one's by the same person.
Wotherington Lancelot! Oh my god! I can't believe
absolutely.
This is definitely. I mean, you can see it, right?
I mean, he clearly has absolutely no idea how spacesuits work, nor how knees work, apparently, considering the fact that this bendy person's
they look
leg
like the hinge in a drinking straw.
It is a bit.
So we have a sexy ginger like Chris Pine from Captain Kirk from Star Trek.
Absolutely.
In a spacesuit. And those blue eyes.
He's the last of the space gingers.
And he's standing in an alien landscape with stars above him.
Yes, Mars in the background. I assume that, he's considering the title, I assume he's standing on one of Mars's moons.
And beyond that are some towers of Space Guano.
Oh yes.
They're these stalagmites, what is it? A stalactite
Mites.
hangs tight to the ceiling, and stalagmite might poke you in the bum.
I never heard the English version of that. I know the Dutch and
how's it go?
Tieten die hangen.
Tits hang,
yes.
yeah.
I guess it works in English as well, yes.
So we've got a starscape.
Yes.
This can be one of the moons because I see that in the background there's another moon. So then one of them's Phobos and one of them's Deimos.
I guess there's lots of the Martian vampire bats who are responsible for the guano mans.
Guano. Beyond these mountains of space guano, we have this domed. It's a large dome, but only a portion of it seems to consist of glass. It's almost like there's a small window in a large spherical. I found that a lot of the architecture and engineering was very nipple based.
All the peaked domes that you were getting everywhere.
Yes, exactly. And Space Station Oriole was also
one of the other moons, of course.
One of the other moons,
yes.
Because of course, as we all know, Mars has more than 2 moons.
Mars has 4 moons. Everybody knows that.
Yes, those are Phobos, Deimos,
Gyros, and Apropos.
And the 5th moon, Lesbos.
That's the one.
Because I can just say this shit. Hold on, I'll just write a note that just says Lesbos, the 5th moon, and then that'll be truth that we're talking about. Thank you for handing me this piece of paper. Everybody just stand by while I write down Lesbos.
Well, it is the secret of the Martian moons.
It is the secret of the Martian moons. No, you're right. So I've added this 5th one that you forgot in your notes.
Yes. So actually what happened with Lesbos is that it was originally a Venusian moon, but due to a massive cataclysmic event, it got knocked out of Venus orbit, slingshotted around Earth, and got captured by Mars.
What a good book!
It's amazing.
This book, The Secret of the Martian Moon.
And this is all in the first 2 paragraphs.
Yes, they are long-ass paragraphs, like Mr. Bulwer-Lytton would be proud.
A semicolon.
By the way, for our readers at home, if you look down at your podcasting device now, you should be seeing the cover of today's book, and if not, check out the show notes for an imagery link. Our sexy Welsh Chris Pine, the last of the space gingers, is sort of hunched over next to a spaceship, and a nipple shuttle with a cracked canopy.
It's one of the fine products from the Starport Corporation. Clearly he's had his the side window bashed in by some space muggers, stopped over at the traffic light in front of the...
And got space jacked.
Exactly, he got space jacked. He got dragged out, he had his face bashed on the guano heaps, and now he's lying there with his faceplate off, and his friend Peerson is like seeing the aftermath in shock. So shocked that his knees have gone completely bendy.
Which one is Peerson Starshine? I'm totally down with.
Peerson is the last of the space gingers.
It's the last of the space gingers. That's sexy Chris Pine. Okay, got it. Okay, yeah. And then
his poor friend
is
on
sitting
the ground.
Oh yes. Okay. No, not that one. Shit. Yes. Roman,
yes, who asked his cousin to go bowling one time too often.
That's not the reference I was making. Oh. I'm sure that the readers at home who realize that this book is about Mars and are fans of other popular podcasts like 99% Invisible, hosted by Roman Mars, appreciate this particular reference. So,
also on the cover, did man share the universe with a hidden and cunning foe? The explorers on Mars could not confirm their suspicions until two strange satellites revealed the shocking truth.
I know that this book was written in the 50s. That is clickbait.
It is like 40 years ahead of its time, clickbait.
Isn't that incredible? Like, NASA doesn't want you to know about this one weird trick. It's a classic case of Betteridge's law. When you see a headline written in the form of a question, the answer is usually no. Yes. So, did man share the universe with a hidden and cunning foe?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
They never said it was not a human foe.
No, I know.
That's the clickbait part, you know.
No, yeah, you are
this
right.
This woman set fire to her house, and
you'll never guess what.
Never guess happened. Yeah, it burned down.
It burned down. Yeah, and also there was this face cream that Oprah's fucking shaman recommended.
You know that they actually have in a lot of bookstores these days, they have a table of like Oprah recommended this, because so many people come in and go like, oh, I want this book. And it's like, yes, what is it? Like, who wrote it? I don't know. What's the title? I don't know. It was blue. It's like. Oprah recommended. Oh, why didn't you say so? It's over on that table. Over there.
Yeah, it's one of those. I honestly wonder how often it happens that people walk into a bookshop asking for a book.
Just a book.
Just a book, a recommendation. That
I've done that.
Could you recommend me a book?
Well, exactly, yeah. I'll go on Twitter and go like, dear Twitterverse, recommend me something to read. I need a book.
I'm bored.
I've run out of books. And
I have $8 on my Amazon budget, and I have about 15 minutes before I have to go to bed. So,
well, I wouldn't go to Amazon in that case, but yeah.
I thought you were a fan of your Kindle.
Oh, I am, but like for 15 minutes before bed, and I've got $15 to spend, I got a better way of finding a way to go to sleep.
Well, I'm just doing some mental calculus right now, because I was thinking of maybe easing us out of the explicit rating on iTunes, but I guess this episode is not the one. Yes, but you know what? Maybe we can provide this service from people. Maybe we, through our thorough reviews of these books, can provide people with
something they might want to read.
Something they might want to read.
Definitely said that it will be a surprise to them when they actually pick up the book that we've reviewed.
We guarantee no spoilers.
Absolutely.
So one day, when you go into your last remaining bookshop, there might be a shelf of Cover My Ass recommends or Cover My Ass.
Fantastic. Well,
I mean, we don't really recommend books. We imagine. Yeah, I think all of that's very generous.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I mean, I'm sure that like in some parallel universe our recommendations would like have Oprah-esque like...
In an infinite number of parallel universes, there's got to be one where everything we say about these books is correct.
Oh, that too. Where we review a book and then suddenly everybody storms into the bookshops to go buy them.
Yeah, how does that make us any money though?
Well, it's like, you know, it's not uncommon for like well-known people to come into a popular show and have the mickey taken out of them, you know?
To be roasted. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I'm sure that there's shows where famous or less famous writers offer their books to be completely savaged and imagined by people who haven't read them.
Yes,
but
sure that would be real popular among serious authors who are already struggling for any recognition or even readership. Something we would never.
We would never do, because we're actually very conscientious about the books that we choose.
Creativity should be treasured and encouraged and enshrined.
Yes, exactly. We celebrate the imagination of our of the people who write these great books, and in particular of the artists who, like Witherington, Lancelot, the second or the third, it was one of those, who make the cover art, because where would we be without those artists?
Nowhere. We would have literally
we would
no
be
podcast.
One of Peerson Starshine,
and Roman, and his good friend Roman.
Whose faceplate has been smashed, and he's lying on the ground, and Pearson's, well, he's mighty worried about the whole situation.
Although, as you can tell, his attention is clearly not on his friend. It's probably on the podjacker that attacked him and is.
Is that one of the space vampires? I can't believe that you made me say these words sometimes.
No, I said vampiric space bats.
Thankfully, Donald A. Wollheim then progressed the plot. So let's see what that was like. Taking a quick look at my notes.
Okay, go on ahead.
No, I thought we maybe could talk about the Welsh space program.
Our faithful listeners will undoubtedly remember Wasp, the book that we reviewed.
I think it was episode 4 or 5.
With the Welsh
the Falklands Cold War between Wales and Argentina.
From which, of course,
we need stickier notes. They keep falling off of our
Welsh,
board.
the missile program and the rockets, and that turned into like the Welsh space program. I mean, Mr. Wollheim is not Blake Whitecock author, but he's clearly
piling on the references.
He's clearly been influenced by their work.
And who wouldn't be? I mean, the Blake Whitecock novels are famous the world over, and
famous in all of Welshland.
Croeso I Gymru. We appreciate our. I wonder if we have any listeners in Wales.
Oh, I have no idea.
So what was going on here? Yes, it was a podjacking, but not by an ancient and hidden foe. At this point, it was merely more Earth-based competition. This was the Welsh space program versus the Soviet and the Chinese and the American space programs, all of them trying to race to Mars. Oh, that's right. That's what happened in the book. Since the commercial exploitation of Mars was dawning on the horizon, there was a rebranding effort to make it more appealing, because Mars is that's a kind of a cool name.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to live on fear or terror and gyro and apropos maybe.
Well, you know what happens on apropos when they go into the cave? What do they find? 2 dead astronauts in there.
Yes, that's right.
Soviet flag.
That's right.
Apparently the Soviets made their way to Mars. And they got there first.
A long time ago, indeed.
And they didn't tell anybody.
So, Peerson Starshine, the Welsh astronaut, God, what are we getting ourselves into? Is looking for a place to stash the body of his deceased friend Roman before he goes looking for the rival astronauts who podjacked his spaceship Ariole, and deposits him in a cave where he finds out that there are already 2 human skeletons and a Soviet flag. Taking a quick look at my notes, well, the only one that I can grab here that even remotely connects is sex bomb. I can see from your face that you're wondering, yeah, you're my sex bomb, baby, you can turn me on. I believe that Mr. Tom Jones, the Welsh vocalist of worldwide fame, that when he wrote this song with Moose T in 99, released on his album Reload, which is me and my mum and my brother, we all really, really love this album, and it is our Christmas tradition to put on Sex Bomb, yes, Christmas, by Tom Jones, and sing along
I can't
together.
Imagine why not.
What can I say? But if you look at the lyrics, I'm pretty convinced that he was inspired by The Secret of the Martian Moon by Donald A. Wollheim. I mean, it was proudly about the future Welsh space program, and
but, you'd think that it was in the sequels, like the Venusian valleys of favorite. No, the Venusian valleys of
vulva.
That's too
what
obvious.
Have we got? Veronica.
Veronica.
Look, Venusian. I've got it here. That's for the readers at home. That's the other Mars reference. Veronica.
Oh, Mars.
Yeah.
That was a good series, actually. Meanwhile, back on Earth, we have Captain Gunshy, who has run out of his last massive Martian mimosa.
That's right. I forgot that every other chapter took place on Earth. Where was it? Yes, the Welsh version of Cape Canaveral is, do you want to pronounce it?
Cape Gunbar.
Llanfair.
Llanfair? The double L is not pronounced.
Llanfair, yeah.
No.
You know, this is that particular village. Do you know that one village with that name?
Oh, the hole with the train station.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that one. The bend in the river by the calmly babbling brook, which has 2 cows running around it, but not on Tuesdays, because that's when they're having a cup of tea at
St. Cecilio's cave, Specifically, Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll Gogerich Wirndrobych Llanticilio Gogogoch. That one.
How many times did you have to practice that?
It doesn't matter.
Fair enough. So Captain Gunshy, sadly mimosa-less, which is...
Who ran out of his last Martian mimosa. Massive Martian mimosa. Apologies. So he's the main antagonist, yeah? He's the one opposing the Welsh space program from his home base in... Cardiff it is. This is part of the Welsh Space Civil War, where Welshman turns against Welshman.
I suppose the Argentinians threw in with the Soviets to make sure that they'd get there first, as a final comeuppance on top of the Welsh.
So those skeletons might have been from the Argentinian space program.
Yeah, I suppose they had a spare one lying around the Soyuz capsule that they travelled over.
Yes, exactly, because they're very good spacecraft.
Yes, they get you there, and if they don't get you there, they do a safe aboard.
Nothing but respect for our...
No, the dragons.
But Wales has a dragon on their... do you think... Hold on. What does this say about Elon Musk and SpaceX and naming their... Oh, no, wait, it's Bezos. Bezos has the dragon capsules. No, which one has the dragons?
Musk has the dragon capsules.
I was worried that we weren't going to have a title for our podcast, but there it is. Musk has the dragon capsules.
Well, there you go.
Look, there's going to be some time before somebody hears this, so who knows what the fuck Musk is going to do in the meantime. So let's not be on Team Musk too much, because he could ruin it for himself in the next 2 days.
He's tried a few times. This whole...
Whoops.
I'll buy them at 420 and stuff, which was just like...
A bad joke and a violation of FDA law
regulation. It's
like,
you can't just
FDA.
go ahead.
What are we talking about?
FDA, FCC. No, you can't just go ahead and say shit like that.
No, because it's stock manipulation.
Like not as much as the... Not as much as the...
I believe it.
No, not as much as the mutton stock was manipulated by Captain Gunshy.
Yes!
The Leek futures were going through the roof. And someone from Welsh is going to kill me for dragging out 2 stereotypes in one sentence.
After we got away with it in episode 4 with Wasp by whatever his name is, Eric. Oh no, it was 3 people. Eric, Frank, and Russell did that
one. That's the one. Yes.
Hey, good on us for remembering our own show.
I'm amazed at your recollection of these things.
Thank you. We all recall the tragic story of Laika, the space dog, the first living being launched into space by the Soviet space program.
Yes.
Well, supposedly, because we all know now that she was beaten to space by Gelert, the faithful hound from Wales.
Gelert?
He's the Welsh version of a faithful hound story that occurs throughout Europe. There was Saint... Oh, I forgot what it was called in France. But, like, the story is, a knight comes home and he finds that his dog is in the nursery and the baby isn't in the crib, and the nursery is all torn up, and the dog has blood on his face, and he kills the dog. And then he finds his infant son is still alive, and there's a dead snake next to it. The dog had protected his child from the snake.
Yes.
I believe there's even a place or a bridge named after Beth Gelert. I think
a lot of bridges are named, have dog stories, or sometimes even goats, and I guess in Welsh, sheep again. Because it's like, usually there's an impossible chasm in front of which a bridge has to be built over. And someone makes a deal with the devil. The deal is always the first person to cross the bridge, their soul will be forfeit. And so they built it, and then they chase a dog or a goat or whatever it is across the bridge. And then the devil's just like, oh, well, fuck with that.
Well, the devil's not usually so easily pleased. I know a story about a bridge in Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia, that I had occasion to visit a few years ago. It has these pillars with dragon sculptures on them, and supposedly the dragon moves and turns its head when a virgin crosses the bridge.
So there's not a lot of that going on there.
No, they get on down in Ljubljana.
Ah, well.
Speaking of getting
it on,
I'm down to my last 2 notes. None of which are going to really say that much about the ending. I've done pretty poorly on preparing my notes.
So the secret of the Martian moons is, of course, revealed towards the end of the book.
Is it related to the massive Martian mimosas, or are we just leaving that on the table?
Well, the massive Martian mimosas need to come from somewhere, and as
that's true.
I mean, mimosas like orange juice and champagne.
Champagne, yeah, also possible with vodka.
No, then it's a screwdriver.
Well, tell that to the... So, I'm a wedding photographer sometimes, and at one point, a bride who planned her wedding out loud asked, "Wait, what do brides do in the morning?" And I, with my infinite wisdom, was able to pipe up, traditionally, mimosas.
Yes.
And she immediately, very wisely, tasked one of her maidens in waiting to go and
procure mimosas?
And procure that. But this woman was under the impression that mimosas were made with hard vodka. So now, if it weren't for some very good communication, that pulled the brake on that one, that would have been a very different wedding, I think.
I can imagine. Yeah, it's like it's not like a slush bride is that unusual at a wedding, but it's. I guess she's not going to say no at that point. It's like, yeah.
Speaking of brides, and I just brought up Slovenia, a country that I've only been to once, but which I really enjoyed. They have a fun wedding tradition where on the evening before the wedding, the groomsmen kidnap. I'm making air quotes here. Kidnap the bride, which means
take her out on the lamb.
Take her out for an evening on the town, and they're her chaperones, and they will go wherever she wants to go, and they will pick up whoever she wants to pick up and hang out with, and they're responsible for ensuring that she has a good time. But officially they've kidnapped her from her fiance. Her fiance has to stay at home with her parents and just stay in, and they send messages back and forth demanding a ransom from the fiance. Right. If you want to see your bride again, you better pay us. It's essentially to cover the bill of taking her out. So of course the bill increases over the course of the evening.
Yes, and he denies wanting to pay, but even though knowing that the price is going to go up,
it's considered very poor form for the fiance to
give in right away.
Yeah, because that just like he's denying his future wife an evening on the town.
How did this work in the era before mobile phones and SMSs?
Oh, you had children, like you had little...
you had little runners going back
and
forth.
little street urchins with messages.
Yeah. It's like, stop, having a good time, stop. Send money, stop.
Wait, so she wants to stop sending money?
Stop.
Very confusing. I'm going to...
I mean, at least it beats having, walkie-talkies. It was like, especially when you're trying to break up, it's like, our relationship is over. Our relationship is what? Over?
Oh, God. So, I'm going to have to, dispose of these last two notes.
All right. Dispose away.
So that one's says Popty ping, which is supposedly, it's not true, it's supposedly a Welsh word for a microwave, which is just such a great idea that I wish it was true. Because I think a Popty is actually a word for oven, and Popty ping would then thus be, but then I was told that it's not true, but I insist that it...
Popty ping.
I can't help but notice how little we've been talking about this book this whole time. We've done well with the notes. The board is full of notes, which maybe we should just quickly remind our readers at home. Veronica, Popty Ping, Llanfair, sorry. What does this say? Captain Gunshy. The last note that I have is related to the clickbait slogan that we have.
Right, yes.
Which is about the one weird trick that NASA doesn't want you to know about.
Well, that's obviously the shortcut that they have to Mars. It's the
you've got this.
Well, if you launch into an L2 orbit, and
that's the Lagrange point between
that's the one
that trails behind Earth.
I'm pretty sure it's something Mr. Wollheim made up, but it's clearly a focal point of the book where NASA doesn't want you to know how easy it is to get them. I think the Soviets figured this out. This is clearly evidenced by the two skeletons.
Yes, exactly.
Managing to...
It was so easy that they were embarrassed to reveal it.
This quick little slingshot that'll get you to Mars. It only works when Mars and Earth are in conjunction.
Yeah, but considering the orbital periods of these planets, it's like once every year and a half.
And it just really speeds it up. It's just a quick whip and snap around. And of course, it's only made possible by doing another captive maneuver around the moons of Mars.
Fortunately, of which there are 5. That was the fun discovery because
that turns out to be the big secret of the Martian moons, that it's really easy to use.
Really easy.
You
brought it
yourself
home
to get there, and it's like it's easy to get there, and then you have to do the little slingshot capture around Gyros and Apropos.
Yeah, renamed now Veronica and Rhiannon.
Yes, and Gelert.
So, to answer the question, did man share the universe with a hidden and cunning foe? No. They were bats, they were pretty cool, but they're not hidden, and they're not cunning, and they're not really a foe.
They're pretty much
it's just other
humans which have been adapted to the specific peculiarities of the Martian system.
Yeah. And the explorers on Mars could not confirm their suspicion until 2 strange satellites revealed the shocking truth. Well, it was the 2 additional satellites around Mars, and then the third additional satellite.
Even secreter.
That turns out getting to Mars, really not a problem. So we've all just been whining about it for nothing. Because this one weird trick that NASA doesn't want you to know about is how fucking easy it is to get to Mars.
Once Captain Gunshy gets hold of it, he sets up his regular massive Martian mimosa transport. Keep him sloshed and supplied with his favorite drink.
This book, as much as it would be a disappointment to us in objective terms, because it doesn't really, you don't get out of it what you think you're going to get out of it coming in, but that's such a great lesson. This was trying to teach us about clickbait before it even existed.
Before the concept even got around.
Don't get excited about
here, pay 50 cents and now you know why you shouldn't fall for clickbait.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because what is it really? You go to a bookstore when they were still bookstores. Let's hope they're still bookstores by the time this episode comes out. And what do? You look at the covers, you read the reviews, you listen to what some extremely handsome, well-spoken gentleman on the internet supposedly tell you about what the book is about.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a mug's game.
It is. I mean, to be honest, especially in the 70s and 80s, covers, especially science fiction and fantasy books, were just designed. They meant to draw you in. They were only there to get you to pick it up and read the blurb, and that was then supposed to get you interested in it. But they were
the same was true for LPs.
Pretty album cover.
Yeah, because the cover speaks to you. And so, this was a golden era for cover designers whose job was to create a cover that would captivate the attention of 2 dopes on the internet decades later. And boy howdy, did it work out.
Half an hour podcast talking about this
Isn't
book
it
cover.
Incredible?
It is amazing.
With that context, with that historical context, how do we rate this book? Because I'm sure that the ratings for the book at the time were all over the place, but we know better now. We know about the Soviet skeletons and the Welsh. I mean, I can repeat everything we've gone through, but
again,
that didn't really work the last time. So,
well, we can rate it out of 5 moons.
Prior to the renaming, which of the Martian moons do you think is appropriate for this?
Apropos, I would give it some lesbian gyros.
To my great terror, my final fear has come true. I got the other one in there.
Nice one.
Speaking of reviews, for our readers at home, we would love to hear what you thought, whether you listened or not, because, that doesn't really matter. So drop us a line sometime. We're Cover My Ass Cast on Twitter and Facebook, if that's your thing. Or even better, leave a nice review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast, because we sure do appreciate your help. Now, Kay, what do you have in store for us next time?
Next week we'll be reviewing a book by John Hoover, and I'm sure a lot of our readers at home will be able to relate to this. The book's called How to Live with an Idiot. Clueless creatures and the people who love them.
And that about covers it. Thank you for joining us at Cover My Ass, where baffling books are reviewed, but not read by yours truly. My name is Khaki.
And I'm Kay. And remember, we only judge a book by its cover.